Augustinian greetings to all. For today's discussion, we'll go into the topic of the protozoa, its classifications, diseases, and its effects on the body. But before that, let's go back and learn about it further by learning its main definition, structure, parts, characteristics, and how it functions.
What is protozoa? A protozoa are one-celled animals that can be found in almost any environment. The majority of species are free-living, but all higher animals are infected with one or more protozoa species. Infections can range from asymptomatic to fatal, depending on the parasite species and strain as well as the host resistance. Next, what does the structure of a protozoa look like? Protozoa are unicellular microscopic eukaryotes with a relatively complex internal structure and complex metabolic activities. Some protozoa have propulsion or other types of movement structures.
These are the parts of a protozoa and their brief functions. Cilia, tiny hair-like structures that cover the outside of the microbe. They beat in a regular continuous pattern like flexible oars. Flagella, long thread-like structures that extend from the cell surface. The flagella moves in a whip-like motion that produces waves that propel the microbe around. Amyloid movement. The organism moves by sending out pseudopodia, temporary protrusions that fill with cytoplasm that flows from the body of the cell. Also, the organelles of protozoa have functions similar to the organs of higher animals, like plasma membrane, pellicle, cytoplasm, cytosome, contractile follicles, subpellicular mitotubules. So how does a protozoa function? The protozoan cell carries out all the processes, including feeding, growth, reproduction, excretion, and movement, necessary to sustain and propagate life. Protozoa play important roles in environmental food web dynamics. They graze on bacteria, thus regulating bacterial populations. They take part in wastewater treatment processes. They maintain fertility in soil by releasing nutrients when they digest bacteria. Protozoans also excrete nitrogen and phosphorus in the form of ammonium and orthophosphate as products of their metabolism. And studies have shown that the presence of protozoans in soils enhances plant growth.
To continue, let us talk about the characteristics and classifications of a protozoa. The protozoa has three major characteristics, which are being eukaryotic, single-celled, and lacking of cell walls. Protozoa are found in moist environments, with terrestrial species living in decaying organic matter and free-living species living in fresh water and marine environments. They vary in size and shape and possess the unique ability to move independently. Most protozoa reproduce asexually. There are four classifications of a protozoa, namely amoebas, ciliates, flagellates, and apocomplexa. Amoebas move by cytoplasmic streaming having no motility structure. The flagellates have flagella, or an undulating membrane for motility. The ciliates are single-celled organisms that, at some point in their life cycle, possess cilia, or short hair-like organelles used for locomotion and food gathering. The apicomplexa have a unique arrangement of microtubules, called the apical complex, used in the takeover of the host cell. This last class has most of the human and animal pathogens in it.
The life cycle stages of protozoa that actively feeds and multiply are frequently called trophozoites. That's been active feeding and multiplying stage of most protozoa. The cysts are the stage with a protective membrane or thickened walls. Protozoan cells that must survive outside the host usually have more resistant walls than cells that form in the tissue. While in the reproduction, the protozoa is sexual and asexual can be happen. Binary fusion is the most common and it's a asexual type of reproduction, where multiple asexual division occurs in some forms.
The severity of protozoan diseases can range from extremely minor to fatal. The digestive system can typically be affected by a protozoa that enters the body through contaminated food or drink because they thrive and grow there. The spread of the parasite may also harm other organs. The most common physical issues caused by the protozoa that are spread by an insect bite include fever and inflammation.
An example is malaria. It is a potentially fatal disease brought on by a parasite that infiltrates a certain kind of mosquito which feeds on humans. This is transmissible to people through the bites of infected female mosquito called Anopheles. It can be both preventable and treatable.
What is Giardia? One of the most frequent causes of waterborne illness in backcountry streams, lakes, as well as public water supplies, swimming pools, whirlpool spas, and wells is Giardia infection. Food and interpersonal interaction both have the potential to spread the Giardia virus. How is this disease formed? The Giardia travazoids then advance toward the colon and undergo incystation, reverting to cyst form. The stage most frequently discovered in stools is the Giardia cyst. What is the cure for this disease? If your infection is serious or has persisted for a long time, your doctor may prescribe treatment. Most medical professionals will advise using antiparasitic medications as opposed to waiting for the condition to become better naturally. Giardiasis is routinely treated with certain medications.
Toxoplasmosis is a parasite infection caused by Toxoplasma gondii. Eating undercooked meat frequently causes illness in humans. Additionally, it can spread by contact with cat excrement. During pregnancy, the parasite might transfer to the fetus. To add things up, most parasite-infected individuals do not exhibit any symptoms. Flu-like symptoms might occur in certain persons. Infants and those with low immune system are most frequently affected by serious disease. Pregnancy-related toxoplasmosis may result in miscarriage and birth abnormalities. The majority of illness are also curable. People with more severe conditions, expectant mothers, new parents, and those with compromised immune systems receive drug treatment. Toxoplasmosis prevention measures can reduce the chance of infection.
How is protozoa different from other organisms? Some protozoa are parasites, which mean that they need to live on or in another organism, like an animal or plant, to survive. For example, the protozoa that causes malaria grows inside red blood cells, eventually destroying them. Some protozoa are encapsulated in cysts, which help them live outside the human body and in harsh environments for long periods of time. What makes protozoa separate from other microorganisms according to its characteristics, classification, and properties? The identification of protozoan pathogens, which makes it justify their classification, is based upon their detection of the respective causative agent in clinical specimens and/or upon detection of specific immune reactions of the host.
To conclude our discussion for today, we tackled the unicellular microscopic eukaryotes protozoa, which are made out of cilia, flagella, amoeboid movement that grazes on bacteria, thus regulating bacterial populations. The three major characteristics of protozoa are eukaryotic, single-celled, and lacking cell walls. Moreover, it is classified into amoebas, flagellates, and amoebocomplexa. Some protozoa are parasites, which means they need to live on or in another organism. The severity of protozoan diseases can range from extremely minor to fatal, like malaria, giardia, and toxoplasmosis. Protozoa may cause diseases and are parasitic, yet studies have shown that the presence of protozoans in soils enhances plant growth. And that would be all for our topic Protozoa. We are the group 2. Thank you for listening.